The day's full name, the Day of Remembrance of the Holocaust and of the Heroism, reminds us that Jewish history in this period cannot be reduced to victimhood alone. The day exists because memory matters. Memory hosts truth, but memory on its own is not enough. Yom HaShoah was never intended to be comfortable. It exists not to console us, but to confront us. It demands reflection not only on what happened, but on how it could happen. Not only on the dead, but on the living. Not only on history, but on ourselves. Because the Holocaust did not begin with gas chambers, did not begin with death camps or mass murder. It began earlier and far more quietly. It began with language that reframed human beings as problems to be managed. It began with laws and with institutions that made exclusion appear reasonable, even necessary. And it began when ordinary people not unlike ourselves, chose not to stand up, while standing up still seemed possible. My friends, you know, history rarely announces a catastrophe. History whispers long before it screams. One of the greatest dangers facing Holocaust remembrance today is ritual without responsibility. Ritual has its place. Ceremony can bind communities together in shared memory and collective mourning. When remembrance becomes routine, it risks losing its capacity to disturb, to challenge and to warn. The central lesson of the Holocaust is not simply that evil exists. Humanity has always known that. The deeper and more uncomfortable lesson is that evil flourishes when good people fail to act, when silence is reframed as prudence, caution mistaken for wisdom, and delay justified as restraint. The Holocaust did not require universal hatred. It required acquiescence. It required millions of small decisions to comply, to adapt, and to adjust. Exemptions and to wait for clarity that never came. The trains did not run on time by accident. There is a temptation, deeply human and deeply dangerous, to imagine that the perpetrators of the Holocaust were fundamentally different from ourselves. We tell ourselves that they were uniquely cruel, uniquely hateful, uniquely abhorrent. We do this not because history records and supports it, it's because it comforts us. The Holocaust was carried out by ordinary people, clerks who stamped documents, teachers who altered curriculum, railway workers who scheduled deportations, police officers who enforced new rules, doctors who abandoned medical ethics, civil servants who followed procedure. These were people who had careers, families, ambitions, routines. The machinery of genocide ran on bureaucracy, obedience, conformity, institutional loyalty, and a professional self-interest. It ran on the gradual outsourcing of moral judgment, the quiet persuasion that responsibility lay elsewhere. If we imagine perpetrators as monsters, we absolve ourselves too easily. Holocaust remembrance loses its threatening and necessary lesson when we refuse to recognize that ordinary people, placed in ordinary roles, can become agents of extraordinary evil when conscience is subordinated to authority. If perpetrators carried out the crimes of the Holocaust, history is clear that something even more challenging to confront. Bystanders made them possible. There were millions who did not pull triggers, operate camps, or sign deportation orders. Yet there were millions who knew, not everything, but enough. Enough to notice neighbours disappearing, enough to see Jewish businesses confiscated, enough to observe Jewish doctors dismissed, Jewish children removed from school, Jewish families forced into ghettos, enough to see synagogues burnt, homes sealed, trains departing. They were not all driven by hatred. Some were afraid. Some were indifferent. Some calculated the risk. Many persuaded themselves that injustice was temporary, that events would stabilize, that intervention would be dangerous, that resistance would be futile, that discretion was wisdom. That united them was not cruelty, it was their ability to adapt.